Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a little bit of a different video than what I've done so far here in the channel. So this week's video was going to be something completely different. It was going to be a vlog of me reading new releases, but I haven't finished reading them yet because it took me a week to read one of them. That being said, I had to scramble up an idea and this is what I came up with. We're going to be going over 1-star reviews of some of my favorite books. I got so heated with some of these, I couldn't include them. So that's what we're going for today, okay? And I've gathered quite a few options here. Some of these books are very well known, others not so much, or it depends if you've been a reader for a long time or not. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it's fun for you. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel and, watching more of me, because why wouldn't you want to? Obviously. Anyways, I have my trusted iPad here with me and I'm going to be reading you guys these reviews, okay? Let's get into it. First off, we have Eragon, and I was obsessed with this series when I was younger. I wanted to be Eragon. I wanted a Saphira of my own. I wanted a magical fire sword. There was elves, there was gnomes, there was magical beings, there was dragons, there was dragon riders, there was like witches and warlocks, there was so much fighting and action, but yet like the connection between Eragon and Saphira was so unique and so magical. I loved everything about it. I was so obsessed with it. And so when I was looking through these reviews, when I tell you, I had to breathe, okay? Luckily, I found a few that were funny, but I had to breathe. Firstly, a lot of people were commenting how it was written by a 15-year-old. It's like written by a child. That's because it was, okay? He was a child. This is his debut novel. People evolve. Also, a lot of people saying it was based on Lord of the Rings a lot. Maybe. Valid. I saw a few of them. I was like, okay, valid. I wasn't familiar with that because I haven't read Lord of the Rings. I saw the movies, but I haven't read the books. And so especially at the time, I wouldn't have made the connection at all. But this was my Lord of the Rings, okay? This was mine, okay? So I loved this book. I was obsessed with it. Let's go into the first review that I read. Here is a short list of things I find more enjoyable than reading Eragon: the dentist, math homework, and a colonoscopy. Not a colonoscopy. Come on. It's not I understand that for a lot of people this was not it, but it's not that bad. Come on. Let's be honest. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? Left, we have the ride that this story promises to take you on and write what you actually get. And that was hilarious. Those two were fucking funny. It was hilarious to me. I don't think you'll understand. It's hilarious to me. Eragon has got to be one of the most tedious books I have ever read. I normally love fantasy. My love for Harry Potter is an indication of this, but Eragon I could not get through. It was excruciatingly long for such a simple journey. He chances upon all things magical and makes such a big commotion of things. Everything is supposedly mysterious, but it's actually more annoying than mysterious. I love adventure, but his journey was slow-paced and took forever to get through. I will agree with this one. It was a very long journey, and there was one thing that I don't particularly like in books, but at the time I didn't mind this. They go back and forth to multiple places a lot. And I do understand that in life we happen to have a lot of situations like that. We will take a step forward, but it wasn't the right step, so now we take a step back to go in a different direction, and that thing happens. I understand, completely understand, but I do agree with this where it did take quite a long time and you had a lot of traveling. So when they were traveling from one point to another, you had the whole experience. There was no cutting through oh, we've been a week on the road. No. You're going to know Monday through Sunday every single day, if I'm remembering correctly. So I do understand what they mean by it's getting prolonged. Plus it's 4 books and they're all chunky books. So I do understand this, but I still don't think it was bad. And I still think it was pretty good. And all of the little tidbits to my younger self, when I read this, they were magical. I do understand that maybe reading it as an adult, it might not be that magical. I don't know. I actually have been wanting to reread some of my favorite series when I was a kid, but as an adult. And Eragon is one of them. So let me know if you guys would want to see a video of me just rereading the Eragon series and going in depth on what my thoughts are. So the next book we're going to be going over the 1-star reviews is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I love this. I've raved about this. I love the Crowns of Nyaxia series in general, but these two were my faves. The first one I loved so much. I love both my beautiful characters. Rain, he's everything, okay? Rain is the vampire book boyfriend that we all want, okay? Second book I didn't like as much as the first one. I just felt like the ending was a bit of a cop-out, and there was a little bit of where are we going? What But I did still like the duology a lot, and I just love the characters a lot. I really connected with the characters. So I wanted to check up on a few of these, and there's a few of them that are funny, okay? BookTok, you're on your last warning. Which, fair. Honestly, very, very fair. It's like, I feel that. I do feel that. Not about this book, but like in general. I also think a lot of the times like people get disappointed because we hype up these books. Like for me, for example, I will tell you like I love this book, but I will also be honest and say the second one wasn't so much for me, but like overall I like the characters a lot. I like the world. So I liked it, you know? But a lot of people will just be raving like, this is amazing, this is magical, this is what, whoa. And then you go and read it and you're like, oh, it's just another romancy? Okay. Cool. I kind of really feel that about the House of Devil series. I think they have all the ingredients I would love in a book. Genuinely, I love them, but the pacing is not for me. So I do understand how sometimes like what is good for one person won't be good for another person. And with BookTok, we always have to take it with a grain of salt. Always do your due diligence, right? I have like 2 TBR lists, to be fair. I have my TBR that's actually like ready to go. This is like my actual TBR. And then I have like a pre-TBR where I have a list of books that I get recommended. And then I will vet each and every one of them before I pass them up on that list to a vetted section. And then when I go in, try to find them, to add them to my Kobo or whatever, I vet them again because I read them again. I'm like, what is this about? I don't remember. So I vet them again before adding them to my actual digital TBR. Even after all of that, sometimes it's a hit or miss. Next review, still from the same book. I might be outgrowing this genre. Do you like piss poor world building? A protagonist who's blatant ripoff of Feyre plus Aelin plus Katniss, and a love interest who is a worse plagiarized Castile with shades of Rhys? Do you want a plot that makes no sense? Side characters with vague goals and convenient motivations that make no sense? How about prose that is so self-congratulatory, over-flowery, non-specific, and although it's written in first person, in no way matches the protagonist's dialogue voice? Oh boy, do I have a book for you. I just really like the way this was composed, to be completely honest with y'all. But it was the whole piss poor world building, which if you read the Crowns of Nyaxis series, the entire thing, you understand there's a lot of world building, but this was also the first series, so obviously you don't have a lot of context, but once you start reading the rest of the books in the series, you understand there's a lot more to the story. And you also understand the part where like it's a side character that have a vague motivation, like you understand their motivation once you get to that character's book. But I get it, you shouldn't have to go there to understand that, but they were also not the focal point of the book, so, you know? But the funny part about like the protagonist who's a blatant ripoff of Feyre, Aelin and Katniss all at once, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not see it. Well, Aelin has a competition, but like, and Aelin is a badass with knives, to be fair, with double knives too, because she also likes double swords. I do see Aelin a little bit. I do see Aelin a little bit. I do see Aelin a little bit with the double knives and being kind of an assassin at night with the hood, darkness surrounding her, and she's just slaying these evil people, and also like going into a deadly competition. But Castile / Rhys, like, mix, I can see that. I'm gonna be honest, I can see that. And I'm not mad about it. Because who wouldn't want? I love Rhys. I love Castile. Rune, bitch. All three. Who wouldn't want all 3? Come on. If you say you wouldn't, you're lying. You're lying to yourself, and you're lying to me, and you're lying to everyone around you, and we do not believe it. Also, I want to say, a lot of people are like, oh, it's inspired by ACOTAR, it's inspired by Throne of Glass. Guys, those are very good books. I love them. But like, they are not the end-all be-all, okay? Just because a book reminds you of ACOTAR or Fourth Wing does not mean they were inspired by that. Next up, we have 1 star. Sarah J. Maas committed a war crime when she created Rhysand. He's everywhere. Like a cancer, he just keeps spreading and it becomes an epidemic. I mean, I agree. There's so many fucking shadow daddies to a point where I love a good shadow daddy, but I'm honestly sick and tired of them at this point, okay? And no one can match my Lord and Savior Rhesus Christ, okay? But at the same time, who doesn't want a good shadow daddy with wings? You know what I mean? Right after this one, there was another one that said, no, because what's up with everyone frothing at the mouth at these mid-ass fantasies filled with plot holes and Wattpad writing and shitty characterization. I'm sorry, this was even worse than Fourth Wing. Bye. Maybe you're just not in your lane, girl. Maybe you're just not in your lane. Okay, I will say that maybe this is just not for you. Romancy might not be for you, especially this type of romancy might not be for you. Okay, cool. If this is Wattpad writing, I've been missing out. Here's the thing. No one's saying this is a work of art. No one's saying this is top level literature. But is it a good time? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. Is the spicy nice? It's nice spicy. Spicy nice. Is it vampires? Yes. Yes. So, I'm just saying, I stand by my dear beloveds. Lastly, we have DNF right in the middle of a spicy scene too. not after I just said that the spice was nice. I don't even know what to say to that, because like literally the first like slightly spicy scene I got from these books got me hooked on it. Like I'm obsessed. I still have an image in my head of what happened. So I don't understand like how. But at the same time I do, because like when you don't vibe with the spicy scene, you just don't vibe with the spicy scene. There's some authors I could read their spicy scenes all the time. Like make me an entire book just off of spicy scenes. Yes. But then there's other authors where I'm like, this is mid. You know what? Fade to Black isn't that bad from time to time. You know what I mean? Like it's not, we don't hate it. It's not bad. You should try it sometimes, you know? So sometimes when it doesn't click, it doesn't click. But to me, it clicked a lot. I loved it so much. Loved it so much. I don't think you understand. I would love to read that scene, that first scene in the cave for the first time. Moving on to the next book, we have City of Bones. Just because I knew this series had the potential for good 1-star reviews or funny ones. And if you've read this series, you know what's coming. You know what's coming in these comments, okay? So let me just read them for you. Pure and utter crap. I wish there was ways to give negative stars. I certainly want the time for my life back. I would compare its writing quality to a fanzine, except that comparison wouldn't be fair to fanzines. But I swear to God, it took every single bad fanfic writing cliche and published them. What were her publishers thinking? Where was her editor? It was horrible. I would dearly love for a fanfiction author to make good and become a published writer, but I'd prefer one with talent. Thanks. Bitch, that is so mean too. I honestly, like, when I was scrolling through all of these, I was like, I admire authors' bravery so much, because I'm telling you, if I were ever to publish a book, I would have to restrain myself from checking the Goodreads reviews. I would have to. I'm so sorry, because I'm the type of person, when I check reviews, I always go down. I never go up. I always go down. I always go to the shitty ones, because usually the 1 stars are very hateful, but like usually the 2 to 3 stars are the realistic ones, right? I wouldn't have the courage to check these. I really wouldn't. There's a indie published book I love so much. I'm obsessed with it. And I checked its reviews. It only has 1 negative review, and I wanted to punch the person in the face. And it's not even my book, okay? Like, I think people forget that these are actual people, and like, what you having a negative opinion is valid. Like, I will hate on a book I hate. I will. But I would never tell an author, like, you're not talented, you should stop writing, you should, like, you know, like a lot of these dudes do. It's just really rude. And a lot of, like, especially with Eragon, he was a kid, and there's reviews from when he was a kid, and that's just not great. I don't like the bullying part, but I will say, I find it really funny how, like, they were like, I should give this negative stars. And you know what? That's the part of this review that I have to agree with you. I do. Because if I had the ability to give negative stars, I will tell you, I would give negative infinite stars to some books I've read in my life. This one is really funny. It's not the best one I got, but it's really funny. I'm just saying. So it's literally just a picture. It's literally just, there's nothing else, okay? I just want you to, nothing else. And it says, anytime you have to say, it's not incest technically, that's not great, Ryan. I promise it's not incest, but like, I understand, right? But like, to me, when I was first reading the series, I realized it wasn't true. Like, it could not be true. I could not believe it was true, because that would be too yucky. So I was like, no, I refuse to believe this to be true. So I kept reading, and it wasn't. Well, was there a little bit of an incestuous relationship within the book? Yes, but the person was like deranged, like literally mentally deranged. So there was a full-on explanation to why that was the case. But like, the main thing that this is talking about is not the case, okay? It's not. They're not siblings. They're not, okay? This one was the one. And it just said, it has 3 words, peeps. 3 words. And it says, Sweet Home Alabama. Stop! This was so funny. I don't think you understand. Imagine writing a review for a book you read, giving it 1 star, and literally just writing Sweet Home Alabama, and it's reason enough. It's reason enough. I've laughed so hard last night on this, and it's still funny. It's still fucking funny to me. I love it. Like, so the next book we're going to check out is Direbound. Let's go on to the first review. Oh my god, 4th wing, but Timo. I just can't. Neither would all the 5-star ARC reviews. What the fuck? This bitch said 4th wing, but Timo. 4th wing, but Timo. And I'm gonna be honest, I saw a lot of people mentioning this, and I was like, what? And so initially I was like, no, there's no way. Like, what does this have to do with anything at 4th wing? But then I saw this full ass thing, And I was like, you know what, Lexi, you're right. You're right, Lexi, you're right. So if you haven't read Direbound yet and you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, just skip ahead. It might be best, okay? So she says just a few similarities within the first 20 chapters. The wolves choose who they bond to, and then the humans get tattoos symbolizing their bond. Main character has unique silver hair color, which technically Violet also has like half of her hair color, right? FMC goes to war college even though she doesn't want to bond a wolf or be there, uses daggers, says this is not where I die instead of I will not die today. I was like, okay, but you know what? Okay. Use of mental shields to block out communication within the wolves. I will say this is not that uncommon. It is very common in any book that has a trope where you can talk mind to mind. They always have shields because that's just a logical conclusion to go to. To me, this one was kind of like iffy, right? Wolf and human both die if their bond breaks or the other dies. And I was like, you know what? You know what? You got me there. Okay. FMC bonds the oldest wolf that rarely bonds, Tern, and can't hold her seat while riding. And the can't hold her seat while riding was it for me. I was like, damn, that is true. That is fucking true. Even though for completely different reasons, that is so fucking true. Oh my god. I did not see that. Lee is literally Dane, which I was like, okay, cool. Stark is Xaden, her superior that she hates. He has tattoos, dark hair, and scar on the face, which I completely forgot that Xaden also has a scar on his face. 4 packs instead of 4 quadrants. Siphons are venom. Although to be fair, siphons are more vampires than anything else. So I don't know about that one. If your bonded wolf has a mate, you can communicate telepathically with that wolf's person. I didn't notice this one. This one was another one that I was like, oh my god, you're so right. You're so right. Valid, 100%. I agree. Shit. That's true. I cannot argue with facts. I cannot argue with that. The wolves give humans magical powers through the bond. Riders can feel their bond's emotions. When I was reading this, I was like, you know what? It's valid. It's valid. Yeah, it's completely valid. There is no arguments against facts, let's be honest. So yeah, that little side quest apart, let's go back to the actual ones that I saved. So I have 2 more reviews for this book. So one of them is DNF at 80%. I know, 80, but I just could not make myself read another word of this book. I didn't even want to skim to the end. This was like a fourth wing fan fiction, but a bad one. And with wolves, which aren't nearly as cool as dragons. But that's not even my main gripe with it. The FMC is so annoying. She has her head too far up her ass and is all boo-hoo, woe is me, and keeps making such dumb decisions. Also, it's really damn clear that the prince won't be the actual love interest, but this relationship was drawn out for so long that I was just tired. I agree. God damn it, I agree. When she goes to this like little garden thing with him, I want to punch her. And when she says yes, he's so sleazy and fake. I cannot believe the FMC stayed with him for so long. Another one of her dumb decisions. I was so frustrated with this book because this bitch was so dumb. Like, how can't you see what things, the obvious? How doesn't this bitch like just put 1 + 1 equals, there's some kind of bullshit here. I will agree. And also there was one part where like she was having a hard time communicating with her direwolf. This dumb cunt cannot be bothered to get up her fucking ass and just go talk to her wolf. If I had a direwolf, whether I wanted to be bonded to them or not, I would like try as much as possible to make a connection with them because like it's forever. It's either you die or she dies and you can't even be apart for a long time. So lastly, we have Quicksilver. That is the last book we're going to go over. I wanted to include this one because I knew it was controversial and I knew there was going to be a lot of people saying a lot of things. And some of them were interesting, but a lot of them were so long. Please stop posting really long reviews, please. First review we have is, this is the age of romance authors dabbling in fantasy and romance readers 4/5 starring them. I do agree, because romantasy is very much like hit or miss. You either have romantasy or you have fantasy with a plot of romance, and that one is the one I like the most, but sometimes the typical romantasy is nice to have from time to time, I will say. And then she goes, what is wrong with that? Because it gives us shit like this book. That is so fucking harsh, dude. So fucking harsh. I'm judging everyone who liked this book. Please unfriend me immediately. Damn. Stop making mediocre authors famous. Romance authors either leave the fantasy genre to its people or for God's sake, work on your books. 5 exclamation marks. God, just another fourth wing and reckless wannabe. Not that either of those was good. Maybe you're just not on your genre, girl. Next thing you'll tell me, Colleen Hoover is writing a fantasy. I love how the internet's hate for Colleen Hoover is so ingrained that even when the bitch is just chilling at home doing nothing, her name is still there. Okay, next up, we have one, but I'm just gonna mention like parts of it. I'm not gonna do the full thing. This is terrible. There's no way anyone with a developed prefrontal cortex can enjoy this unless you're into dumb dialogues and even dumber MCs. I think he called us dumb. The MMC, you're telling me you're 1,000 plus years old and you talk and act like a fucking moody teenager in his emo state? What grown-ass woman finds that attractive? I'm telling you, this was my favorite part about this review. The fucking moody teenager in his emo stage. And what grown-ass woman finds that attractive? Me. But only in fantasy. Only fictionally, okay? Next up, short and sweet. FOMO is a disease. Which I agree, dude. I do agree because I've read some books out of FOMO. I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. By the grace of God, I will never listen to booktok. I hear it. I just thought it was fucking funny. Also because this book was really hyped on booktok. Lastly, but not least, we have I Couldn't Do It Anymore. I've never hated a name more than Kingfisher. I needed to include this one because fair, valid. What is she supposed to call him? King? Ew. No. She calls him Fisher, which I will say, if his name was just Fisher, cool. We're grand. Like, that is perfect. But Kingfisher? Really? Couldn't you just make it something else, Fisher? I have to agree with that one. I have to. Anyways, that was all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to make it a little bit more of a fun video. Also, like, it was kind of a last minute thing because I thought I would have the other video ready for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to give it a like so I know that you like this type of video. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week for another video. Bye!